Yeah. Well, there's another way they get here too. Is they have they get a sentence they have to make of 3 words. It's green, pink, and yellow. And their standard thing is always when they have to give that quiz on that to stay. I could do that sentence. They'll say the phone rings. I pick it up and I say yellow. And they say.
Now, I assume you're not a Democrat.
Oh no, I'm one of the few that are. Let's put it that way. No Democrat here.
Okay, would you call yourself a Republican?
Yes, I would. I would love to. Yes, I do call myself a Republican.
But are you a conservative or just a Republican? Or is there a difference anymore?
No. I'm pretty much a conservative with things.
Yeah.
How the issues are. Listen to them, see what's up, and.
Yeah. What do you think of Trump these days?
Why not? I'm not worried about him. He's only gonna be able to do so much. I know he said a lot of things, but with the health care, I just wish he just didn't start right off the bat with it.
Well, he's not. He said he's going to wait.
Well, you see, it's the party themselves for the last. Let me see. Obama came up with it in 2009. So for the last 7 years, okay, they've been talking about repealing it. Okay, and especially over the last couple of years when the premiums have skyrocketed. Okay, because they just didn't have enough people, and the pharmaceutical companies and everything, the HMOs had to make their money, so they raised the deductibles. What they did what they said they were going to do. They repealed it. They didn't do anything as far as replacing it because they know themselves that's going to take years before they're going to be able to replace it. And Paul Ryan himself, in a town hall the other day with Jake Tapper, said, look, for now, it's going to be a thing of the past, but we're not taking it away from you until we have something in place.
Now, today they were talking about 60% of it will be easy to replace. The other 40 is going to hang around for a long time until they replace it.
They didn't happen to say what 60% they were talking about, did they?
No, well, they already said they have to keep the...
the age 26 and the pre-existing conditions, and then there's one other thing.
The $1 million cap.
$2 million. It was a $2 million cap.
It was $1 million cap.
But the bottom line is anybody...
It used to be $1 million cap.
Well, anybody who knows someone who's had, a severe illness, you can go through that $1 million in less than a year, with the cost of hospitalization and everything and testing.
Well, say that's the things that they want to keep.
Yeah.
The thing is, they want a lot of they're saying they can provide the same benefits for less. And I'm not saying they can, for less.
Well, didn't you hear what Obama said?
What?
Obama said...
Oh, if you could do it, go ahead.
Not only that, he said if you could come up with a policy that would save people money, he said, I would be all for it. He said, we know that it needs tweaking, okay? But, and I discussed this with Felix here before we went on the air. Bottom line is, they've known about this for years. Well, actually, for the last 2 months, they knew that they're going to have a Republican administration. Instead of getting together and putting their heads together and trying to come up with something to replace it.
You can't replace it that fast.
But they didn't even put their heads together.
They have a few plans. The problem is there are different, even within the Republicans, there are different ends. Some want this benefits in this, some want something else. The only way you're going to resolve this, and the simplest way, is you tell Congress, you make out a plan for yourself that you want, and that's what's going to go to the people. That's it. That's all you have to do. And you'll have a perfect plan.
You know what the people want? The people want exactly what the senators and congressmen have.
That's
what
what
the
did I
people
just
want.
say? Isn't that what I just said? You tell Congress to pass a plan that they want to have for themselves, and then give it to the populace.
That's too much money. That would cost too much.
They're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out, Congress. This is what you tell them.
You know,
I said, whatever you're going to agree on, you're going to have to live with.
You didn't see the town hall with Paul Ryan, did you?
Parts of it.
Okay. Did you see the beginning with that man who was very sick? In fact, he must have had some sort of throat cancer, but he was in like stage 4. Okay. He's a lifelong Republican. He was against Obamacare. And he said, God bless President Obama, because if it wasn't for Obamacare, I would be dead now. Because he was able to have his surgeries that saved his life.
Yeah.
He said he wouldn't have been able to pay for it.
He was a plant. He was a plant.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, you need some kind of health insurance.
Well, yeah, there's no wrong with it having it and all that, but I mean, that guy to come out there with that story, of course he's going to say he's a Republican and Obama's great. That's just, I don't know. I just think that's just a little too far-fetched for me.
Well, what about the woman
obviously,
what about the woman who...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, by the way, what's your name? My name is Mark.
My name's Robert.
Robert. What about the woman, sad story. She lost her son. He was a policeman. He was in a head-on collision with an illegal immigrant who happened to be drunk also. He was a cop. He was on his way home, and he died instantly. And she's saying, build the wall, like that's going to make a difference. I really don't think that's going to make a difference. Felix and I have been discussing this.
Everybody say we got their mind saying wall. It's not. It's a combination of things. It's a wall. It's fencing. It's patrolling. That's what they're really talking about.
Exactly.
It's a combination. They're not right now. They're not patrolling, and when they are, they'll let the people go through.
They don't have the funds.
Exactly.
That's right. The Border Patrol said they don't have enough money. They can't hire. They got like one Border Patrol person for 50 miles?
That's what I'm saying.
That's impossible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not. So that's what you mean by wall. It doesn't have to be a physical wall, but it's a wall that will stop the people from coming in. Whatever it takes. Parts of it may be a physical wall. Parts of it may be the way they have it now. They have 2 fences, and in between they have enough room for the patrol cars to go back and forth real quick. There's a lot of ways to build that wall. But you have to do something.
Well, Paul Ryan is one who will only spend as much as he takes in taxes. He doesn't want to see the government pay for... He wants as little as possible. Okay? He wants a lot of this stuff to be self-funding, which he said it probably could. I don't know. I mean, he was on the budget committee before. He became Speaker of the House, so I'm sure he knows his P's and Q's when it comes to that. I certainly don't know.
Yeah, Clinton had a balanced budget as president.
Yeah, but even as a Democrat, I have to say, Clinton benefited from the dot-com companies. Back in the 80s, you had, Silicon Valley was... I mean, Robert, you lived there. Practically.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Silicon Valley was exploding. I mean, every other week another company was coming up. They were hiring 1,000 people. They had, it was great. So Clinton was the benefit of that. Okay. Unfortunately, after it played out, Bush became, it was his presidency, and between that and the 2 wars. Yeah. I'll say a lot of bad things about Bush, but a lot of this stuff he sort of fell into and inherited,
Yeah, of course. Listen.
Yes.
It's all cyclical. It's going to go bad. It's going to go good. It's only a matter of luck who the president is when that happens.
But in '09, in '08, and '07, when Bush thought things were going bad, and then Obama came in, and he went for the what was it? The TARP. Okay. I happen to be a big fan of Paul Krugman, who's a Nobel Prize winner in economy. He used to write for the Times. Now I don't know where he is. But he said, and many economists said, Obama didn't go far enough. And the reason that he didn't go far enough, it should have been at least $1 trillion. He stopped at about 780-something billion because he knew that if it reached $1 trillion, there was no way he was going to get anything through. Okay, because they were so worried about the deficit. Okay, and he had a lot of Democratic support in purple states, blue dog Democrats who eventually lost their seats in the Senate and in the Congress because they supported him. So they had to straddle the fence. One thing I have to say about Republicans is that they always vote in a block. If the Speaker of the House, who happens to be a Republican, says this is the way it's going to go, if you have any hope of being reelected, you vote that way. Democrats, not so much. Democrats always vote their conscience, and that's why you see some Democrats will always cross over to the other side. You know, these people were worried about spending too much money. But I got to say, when you go from 10% unemployment down to 4.6 or 4.7, and the stock market is almost tripled, you know, in the 8 years that he was president. Now, I understand that the unemployment level is not always accurate because there are a lot of people who, after a year, they can't file anymore, they can't find jobs, so they take 2 and 3 part-time jobs in order to make barely one salary.
All those are they're just fall out of the market because they can't find jobs.
Or they just, you know, they're not a statistic anymore, you know.
So I just said they fall out of the market.
You know, but these things happen. I understand that. But, you know, Trump is inheriting an economy that's a hell of a lot better than the one that Obama inherited.
Yeah.
You know.
He's also inheriting a very bad deficit.
You know something? As far as I could remember, one generation passes the deficit down to the next generation. The only time, all right, you say, you know, Clinton got lucky, and he actually passed a balanced budget, and there was a surplus of billions of dollars, blah, 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 whatever it was, you know. But the bottom line is, in order to keep up, you know, you got to spend money in order to put people back to work so they can in turn take the money and spend it and put it back into the economy. You know, it's not going to happen by itself.
Yeah.
But, you know, it comes to a point, like a credit card. You max out your credit card. You just can't spend anymore because one day the Chinese are going to say, I want my money back.
Yeah, but you know something? Let's say you file for bankruptcy, okay? As soon as you file whatever chapter it is, Chapter 11, Chapter 10, okay, and you're paying back 20 cents on a dollar or whatever it is, or maybe even you got lucky enough where they just wiped everything out. 2 weeks later, you know what you get in the mail? An offer from a credit card company to take out another card.
Yeah,
they're giving you
at 30%.
Except, they at 20%.
30%.
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going through that too myself.
Yeah, so have I, so I know.
We had a credit card. We had a credit card to come in, or we could loan money from like a check cashing place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we started reading the whole thing. And say we were to buy like $2,000. Well, by the time we finished paying everything off, we'd be like spending like $9,000.
Well, you know,
because of the interest rate on there, the percent was just, I mean, it was crazy, and it's all right there too in the fine print. You had to read it, and it was just like, my God, because they didn't want you to pay it off early, You had to pay it off within a certain time